What if your spiritual awakening wasn't light and peace? What if instead it shattered your life? What if everything fell apart, your relationships, your beliefs, your sense of self, until all that was left was the silence? And the question, who am I now? We often hear about the bliss of awakening, enlightenment, love, divine connection. But there's another side, a side no one warns you about. The descent, the unraveling, the terrifying moment when the world you once knew dissolves, and you're left standing in the ashes. This is the dark night of the soul, a sacred collapse, a spiritual death before the rebirth. In this video, we'll explore that hidden dimension of awakening, the part where you lose everything in order to find your truth. Because if you're in that place right now, if you feel broken, lost, like something inside you is screaming but no one understands, you are not crazy, you are not alone, you are awakening, but not through light, through fire. Imagine this. One day, something cracks open inside you, a meditation, a heartbreak, a sudden download that shakes your spine, and suddenly, nothing feels real anymore. Your job feels hollow, your friends feel distant. Even your name starts to feel unfamiliar. You begin to question everything, not just your choices, but your entire identity. You look at the life you've built and whisper, whose life is this? Who was I performing for? This is where it begins, the unraveling. Awakening doesn't always come with angelic choirs. Sometimes it arrives like an earthquake. It rips away the lies, the masks, the illusions. And it hurts. God, it hurts. People leave, or you walk away from them. Not because you hate them, but because you no longer fit inside the version of yourself they knew. Your emotions go wild. One moment, you feel like God is breathing through your skin. The next, you're drowning in anxiety, despair, rage. You feel like you're dying, and in a way, you are. Because the you that was built from conditioning, from trauma, from survival, that version is crumbling, and the soul is demanding space. No one talks about this part. The loneliness, the silence that stretches for days, the sense that you're floating in a void and nothing makes sense anymore. People around you don't understand. They tell you to snap out of it, to be grateful, to stop being so dramatic. But how do you explain that your entire reality is dissolving? How do you explain that you're not depressed? You're deconstructing. You try to hold on to old routines, old comforts, but they feel meaningless, like wearing a costume that no longer fits. And underneath it all is this terrifying thought. What if I never find myself again? This is the dark night of the soul. Not a punishment, a passage. But no one can walk it for you. And that's what makes it so excruciating and so holy. As everything begins to collapse, something else rises. The shadow, the parts of you you've buried for years, the anger, the fear, the grief, the shame you never spoke of, the wounds you covered with smiles. Now they come roaring to the surface, not to torment you, but to be seen, to be felt, to be integrated. This is the sacred confrontation most avoid their whole lives. But awakening? True awakening. It will drag you into the cave of your own unconscious and make you look, not to punish you, but to free you, because the only way out is through. And then comes the ego death, the moment you realize that everything you identified with, your roles, your story, your personality, was never you. You were the mask, the performer, the child trying to be enough, and now the mask falls away. It's terrifying, because what's left? You look in the mirror and don't recognize the face. You try to speak, but don't know what to say. It's like being reborn, but without a body yet, without language, without a map. You are empty. But within that emptiness, something ancient stirs, a spark, a whisper, a presence that says, now, we begin. It's tempting in this raw state to run toward anything that feels good, to grab a mantra, to post quotes about love and light, to pretend you're high vibe again. But be careful. This isn't the time for escape. It's the time for embodiment. Because healing doesn't happen through pretending you're healed. It happens through crying in the shower, through screaming into your pillow, through writing letters you'll never send, through sitting in silence so deep it breaks open your chest. This is not glamorous, it's not Instagrammable, but it's real. And when you stop trying to ascend, you begin to descend into your truth. And that descent into shadow, into silence, into raw humanity, is where the light begins to grow again. Not above you, inside you. It doesn't happen all at once. There's no trumpet, no epiphany, just a quiet moment, a breath, a moment where you're not fighting anymore, where the tears dry on your face and you realize you're still here, you survived, and somehow, in the silence, you feel it, a warmth, a presence, not outside of you, within you. It's faint at first, fragile, but it's real, and it says gently, "This pain was never your end. It was your passage." From that moment, things begin to shift, not magically, not instantly, but deeply. You stop searching for the old you and start listening for the true you, the one who existed before the world told you who to be, before the trauma, before the performance. You begin to rebuild, not on the sand of expectation, but on the rock of your own soul. You say no to what drains you. You say yes to what nourishes you. You create new rituals. You honor your rhythms. You speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. And with every choice, you return to yourself. And slowly, you begin to understand. Your life didn't fall apart because you failed. It fell apart because it was built on false foundations. Your awakening destroyed what wasn't real, so you could discover what is. It stripped away the noise, so you could hear your soul. It shattered your illusions, so you could walk in truth. And now, when you look at the pieces, you don't feel broken. You feel sovereign, because you know this destruction was divine. It was the universe removing everything that kept you small, so you could finally rise as who you were always meant to be. If you've walked through this darkness, if you've questioned your sanity, if you've watched your old life burn to the ground, let this truth settle into your bones. You are not broken. You are being reborn. And though it may feel like you're alone in this, there are thousands, millions, quietly going through the same sacred unraveling. They don't talk about it at work. They don't post about it online. But in the privacy of their soul, they are awakening too. And when you begin to share your truth, something miraculous happens. Others recognize themselves in you. The pain you thought would isolate you becomes a bridge. The darkness you feared would destroy you becomes your medicine. In the chaos of awakening, the mind craves stability. So here are two simple practices, not to escape the storm, but to stand inside it, grounded. 1. Daily presence practice. Each morning, before the noise, place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes and ask, what is true for me right now? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now. Let that truth, however small, be your anchor. 2. Sacred journaling, not to perform, not to be deep, just to bleed truth onto paper. Write what hurts, write what heals, write what you're too afraid to say out loud. And in time, you'll notice something. Your soul has been speaking all along. One of the most terrifying parts of awakening is this. You don't know where it's leading. There's no roadmap, no guaranteed outcome. Just this inner pull towards something vast and wild and holy. And that's the point, because awakening isn't about becoming certain. It's about becoming trusting, not of external systems, but of your own connection, your own intuition, your own knowing. When the old compass no longer works, You don't stop moving. You learn to navigate by stars only your soul can see. Here's the secret most don't realize. The dark night doesn't just tear down, it hands you the brush. It says, now that everything is gone, what will you create? Not based on fear, not based on obligation, but based on resonance, on truth, on love. You become the architect of your reality, not through control but through alignment. And suddenly, the life that once felt foreign begins to feel like home, because it's no longer something you inherited, it's something you chose. You've walked through the fire, you've tasted the void, you've lost yourself, only to find something more real than you ever imagined. And now, look at you, not polished, not perfect, but true. You don't need to go back to who you were. That version served its purpose. Now, you get to be who you are, not because the world approves, but because your soul remembers. You are not here to fit in. You are here to awaken others just by being fully awake yourself. And your scars? They're not ugly. They are maps, proof that you've traveled through realms most never dare to enter and returned with light in your eyes. So if you're still in the middle of the storm, still unsure, still shaking, let me tell you this. You are not lost. You are being recalibrated, and on the other side of this chaos is a version of you that is wider, deeper, and more divinely human than ever before. Don't rush. Don't numb it. Let the transformation complete itself, and when it's time, you will rise. Not as a copy of anyone else, but as your own sovereign, radiant self. If this message stirred something in you, if it echoed something you couldn't quite name, that's not coincidence, that's remembrance. You didn't find this video by chance, it found you. Because your soul is ready. Not to bypass the pain, but to alchemize it, to make meaning from the mess, to build from the brokenness, to lead not through perfection, but through authenticity. So if you're still walking through the dark night, don't give up, because even in the deepest shadows, you are being held. And if this message touched something sacred in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, whisper it, let it ripple, because someone out there is standing at the edge, and your voice might be the one that pulls them back to their path. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for staying. And thank you for remembering who you really are. Until next time, may your fire guide you, may your truth protect you, and may your soul always lead you home.